James will travel. No Craig today. I'm flying solo. Craig's out fishing, and I'm getting ready for company. We have company coming. Friends of ours are coming from Ontario who have never been here before, and so I'm just kind of getting prepared for them to show up. They're traveling with friends of ours that came last year, and they came to visit James and Janet. They came to visit last year, and before they left, actually had a cabin bought from here. So just word for the wise, once you get here, you just never know what, if it's going to capture your heart the way it did for James and Janet. And they're on their way back now with some supplies. They're going to do some updates to their cabin that they purchased. And tagging along with them is Candy and Ron. So Candy and Ron are going to stay with us for a little bit. And I'm super excited because they've never been here before. And, we love it here. So we love to share. So they've been traveling for the last little while, the last couple of days now. Well, I guess they left. Let me back up the bus here a little bit. They made it to North Sydney and were supposed to get the ferry, Marine Atlantic, the crossover to get into Port aux Basques on Wednesday night. They arrived and Mother Nature had a different plan. It was so windy they got canceled, booked for then Friday, so they still had a full day that they couldn't get across, and they were booked for Friday, which is today, and no go. So they're canceled again, and I'm just waiting to hear back from them to see when they actually get to cross. And for those of you that have traveled the Marine Atlantic, across the Gulf there, you know that this happens on occasion, and it's just par for the course. So now I'm just waiting for that to get the call to let me know exactly when they're going to arrive, and that gives me a little bit of time to get tidied up around here. We live in a little cabin, so it gets cluttered a little bit, and sometimes I get a little lazy, and then things get piled up. So I got to make sure that it's good and comfy for our company when they come, and I want to be the super host. So there you go. Do a little extra. Hey, if nothing else, having company's gonna make my little cabin here shine. I just got the update from James and Janet, and no go again today. They got the message today, Friday, that they will be crossing on Sunday now. So if you remember from before, they were supposed to cross Wednesday night. They got canceled. They were supposed to cross Friday during the day. They got canceled. Now they're booked for Sunday during the day. So let's hope, fingers crossed, that doesn't get canceled on them this time. It's one thing to be canceled the first time. They're making the best of it and saying, well, that was great. We got to go on the Cabot Trail, and then they did some sightseeing and that sort of deal. And they're with another couple, like I said, Candy and Ron. So they're sharing the cost of a hotel, which is another thing, you're not expecting to have to do, but have no option. So at least they can share the cost there, and that's not half as bad, I guess. But now it's getting on. Okay, so now it was Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Now it's going to be Saturday night, and they'll get here on Sunday. It's a bit of a delay. It's a bit of a delay. Like I told you before, James and Janet purchased a cabin when they got here last year. So they're coming, and they're going to be here till September. So, yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the arse, but they're at least going to be here for a few months to get things done. Candy and Ron have never been here, and their plan was to be here for 10 days, and now look. It's unfortunate, but Mother Nature. It just is what it is. However, we'll make the best of it when they get here. We'll make sure they have a good time, and, we'll make the best of it for sure. But in the meantime, we're just waiting for them to get here, so I will keep you updated. One thing we did learn in this little situation that we have going on is that if your crossing gets canceled like that due to weather, you don't automatically get on the next ferry. I didn't realize that, but I guess it makes sense because it would just be a complete domino effect. Everybody would be pushed. What's happening is they have to wait until the crossing goes, of course, but also they have to wait till there's room for them to be on it. And like I told you, they're pulling a trailer full of supplies, so that makes it a little more difficult. It's not just like it's a little car you can poke anywhere. They drive a 2500 Ram, and they're pulling a enclosed trailer that's full of stuff. So, and as for the other couple, they're also driving a bigger truck and towing a trailer with side-by-side on it. So they're in the same situation. They just can't be poked anywhere on the ferry. They just can't, poke them in a corner that's kind of empty. They have to have a full 2 spots really, because, well, and between the two of them, 4 spots. So I think that might be part of it. But in the meantime, that's what happens. So you just have to wait until there's space for you to get on the next ferry that's available. And however long that is, it is. In the meantime, I'll just keep puttering around here and making sure things are going to be ready for them when they arrive. I think maybe I'll make some fresh bread and who knows, maybe some cookies or something. Maybe I can make them a traditional molasses buns or something like that, and so that when they get here, it's a little more warm and welcoming. Just listen. I don't know if you can hear the birds. Just gonna air out a comforter. Getting ready for my company to come. I'm gonna flip you around. What does your luxury look like? This is mine. Just listen to the peaceful birds. I think I'm going to get my clothes on and go for a walk today. I was going to do an indoor workout, but this is way too beautiful to miss. Okay, headphones hooked up. Going to put on my favorite podcast. Going to listen to Kathleen Cameron today. Those of you who listen to podcasts, Kathleen Cameron is, I don't know, she's inspiring to me. So I like listening to her while I walk. And I'm going to grab my walking sticks and away we go. Still no word on where our travelers are with their execution of leaving North Sydney. So I guess I'll just work on getting some lunch ready here for Craig while I'm waiting to hear. What's going on? Really wondering what I'm trying to do here, but we try to eat clean-ish. So Craig and I eat a lot of chicken and fish, but a lot of chicken, to be real. So right now I'm just picking apart a rotisserie chicken, a pre-cooked rotisserie chicken, and then I'll add a little spice or something to it. And then I'll either add some vegetables or some potatoes or rice. No, Craig doesn't really like rice because it doesn't really... See, my husband eats things cold. I would heat it up, but, he's fishing, doesn't always have time for that. So he eats things cold, and rice doesn't really work that well. So we stick to potatoes or veggies. But it works. Gives him a nice hearty lunch, and it's not always a sandwich. Well, I just heard from our weary travelers, and it looks like everything's a go for tomorrow. On Sunday, for Sunday, they're crossing over during the day as of right now, which means they'll get here, they'll arrive in Port aux Basques at about 7-ish or so, and then still have like a 2.5, 3-hour drive to get to the little community of Lourdes, which is about another, depending on the road condition, 20 minutes to half an hour drive to here, to Blue Beach. However, because they're going to be late by the time they arrive to like just the little town of Lourdes, I'm going to meet them there. We're going to spend the night at my son's house and let them just have a little bit of a rest and not be driving down the Bar Road or Blue Beach Road in the nighttime. Because it can, I mean, you know, there's critters everywhere and whatever. And if the road is kind of pothole-ish and whatever, and I know they're towing things. So we're just going to spend the night at Dalton's and then we'll come down daylight in the morning time. And hopefully that works for them. James and Janet have only been down here a few times, and Candy and Ron have never been. So I think it's just safer if they wait till morning and come down in the daylight. And so that's what we're going to do. We'll stay at Dalton's, we'll grab breakfast, and then we'll hook up and head her down. And then they can get settled in. And that's exciting. I can't wait. So in the meantime, I'm just going to keep getting ready for my company and make some lunch for my husband. Because, you know, that's what I do. Whoopsie. Don't know if you can see that, but the lid's actually lifting on my bread maker, which means there's going to be a bit of a mess in there. Dang it. Well, time to put the bread in pans. Oh boy. Should have really paid a little more attention. Yeah. Stop the beeping already. I get it. 3 buns in each pan. Perfect little bread buns there. And this batch makes 2 loaves. That's usually what I do. I make 2 loaves at a time. Unless I'm making pizza, of course, because I use the same recipe for my pizza crust. So then I just make 1 loaf and I make a pizza or 2. And so now that's what it looks like. So I'll just cover it over, let it rise, and then in the oven it goes in about an hour, hour and a half. Okay, so it's Sunday morning and we just got the word. James, Janet, Candy, and Ron are in the lineup to get on the ferry. They're getting on at noon today. We should see them by, I'm going to say, about 10 p.m. tonight. Well, our weary travelers are on the road. They're in Newfoundland now, and we should see them very, very shortly. I'm just at Dalton's now. We're waiting for them to arrive. It is a beautiful evening here. We now have a nice shiny little buddy. Craig cleaned him up today. And I'm just anxiously waiting for my company to come up over the hill. They're here.